Prof.Javed Basha here. In the last classes, we have been discussed about industrial policies of Indian, right? We have been discussed about industrial policies during 1948, industrial policies 1956, industrial policy 1977, industrial policy 1980, and we also discussed about industrial policy 1991, which is famously known as economic reforms of India. Okay, so the famous model LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization of Indian economy. And in the previous session, we have been discussed about the objectives and highlights of LPG model, right? And in this session, we are going to discuss about impact of LPG on Indian economy, right? So we know that after implementation of LPG in 1991, Indian economy has been opened up to the world economy, and we saw that there are tremendous changes in economic system, and right. So we saw that tremendous changes in our economic system, and we have been discussed some important aspects how the Indian economy has been changed after 1991, how it is opened up, how the policies were altered, and changes like FERA Act has been become a FEMA Act in 1999, and MRTP Act almost abolished, and there are few government sector industries, means public sector industries, have been reduced over the period of time. And there are many tariff rates, tax rates, and other business aspects were liberalized. And Indian companies goes global, and many global companies are comes to India. They are ready to invest in the form of foreign direct investment, and they started their companies in India, their manufacturing units in India. They provide service to the Indian public, right? All this happened after the implementation of LPG model in 1991. Okay, so in this session we are going to discuss about some some positive impact of LPG model on Indian economy. Right, the first one is increase in GDP growth rate. Correct. So the first and foremost thing is GDP. We know that GDP is nothing but it is the gross domestic product. Okay, which is nothing but it is the total sum of amount, which is amount of goods and services produced during a year within the country. Okay, so we normally call it as GDP. Okay, now the pace of growth rate of GDP has been increased after 1991, right? In like India's GDP growth rate during 1991 was only 1.1%, but after 1991 reforms due to LPG policy, India's GDP growth rate is increased year by year, and in 2015 it was recorded 7.26. Okay, guys, just look at the changes. Okay, it was during 1991 1.1% of growth rate. Now over the period of time, means after 24 years of time, the GDP growth rate increases, recorded 7.26% of growth rate, and in 15-16 it is estimated to be it is recorded 7.5% as per the IMF reports. Okay, so it happened, means the increase in GDP growth rate has happened due to the abolition of industrial license, privatization of companies, industries, correct, and advanced foreign technologies. How come advanced foreign technology? Because of the liberalization policies, private because of the privatization of public sectors, because of the globalization concepts. Okay, it allows foreign technology to the country, and reduction of taxes are responsible in India's GDP rate, in increasing India's GDP rate after 1991 economic reforms, right? So the next important aspect is, or changes is, increase in foreign direct investment. Okay, the most important thing, foreign direct investment, right? So foreign direct investment is nothing but the investment made by the outsider of the country. Okay, they are they are investing in the home country. Okay, and they are creating the employment, they are creating infrastructure, and they they are introducing new technologies, new concepts of new procedures of manufacturing. huh? They provide training, they provide skill set to the local employees. Okay, and they also responsible for the export generation of the country. Okay, so foreign direct investment has already marked its presence as one of the fastest growing economics of the world. Okay, like it has been, India has been ranked among the top three attractive destinations for inbound investment since 1991. Okay, it happened just due to the because of the LPG model, right? The regulatory environment in terms of foreign investment has been consistently aided to make it investor friendly, right? And also firmly established itself a lucrative foreign investment destination with foreign capital inflows of over 40 billion US dollar in 2016-17, surpassing the US and China. Right? India has allowed 100% foreign direct investment in medical services, telecom sector, and single brand retail, etc. And FDI cap increased in insurance and sub activities from 26% to 49%, means that any foreign companies can also provide insurance. Okay, so we know that in India insurance means it is only LIC, Life Insurance Corporation of India. Okay, apart from that there are many insurance provider in the world, in the global, and they are also can serve the Indians, right? So uh, we saw that the tremendous changes in telecom sector. Okay, it's apart from BSNL, we saw Airtel, Jio, Idea, Vodafone, Cellular. They are different telecom sector providers in our country. Okay, it has happened just because of the 100% FDI. The government has been allowed 100% FDI in these sectors. Okay, because of that, there are many foreign companies are participating in the Indian industries, right? And also in private sector, banking, except branches or wholly owned subsidiaries, FDI is allowed up to 74%, and in public banking 20% of FDI is allowed under Make in India scheme, right? And in 1991 FDI inflow was around 408 crores only, but after LPG model implemented, means economic reforms implemented, because of that globalization and privatization and free entry policy, it results in FDI inflow, means foreign direct inflow in India. Now it is estimated around 1,20,000 crores. Okay, it was 408 crores during 1991, and today we are expecting around 120,000 crores, means 1,20,000 crores. Okay, we saw the tremendous changes in the inflow of foreign direct investment in country. Apart from that, we can see increase in per capita income. Okay, increase in per capita income. We know that. What do you mean by per capita income? Per capita income is nothing but it is the total income per head of a person, means it is the total GDP divided by total number of population in the country. Okay, which is nothing but per capita income, right? When our GDP increases, per capita increases. Okay, so per capita income is a very and most important parameter in deciding the economical development of a country, right? So per capita income or average income measures the average income earned per person in a given area. Okay, it might city, region, country, etc. Okay, it is calculated by dividing the area's total income by its total population. Correct? So, so this is the concept of per capita income, right? So how per capita income has been changed over the period of time since 1991, right? In 1991, India's per capita income was rupees 11,235. But today, it is around 1,04,000. Okay, it was 11,235 in 1991. Okay, then we have around 75 to 80 crores of population, and total per capita income then was 11,235 during the year 1891. But today we are having the population of 135 crores and per capita income of 1,04,000 rupees. Okay, we saw that the tremendous changes in per capita income. Okay, how it has been helped to increase the GDP rate, how due to which how per capita income increases in our country. Okay, so it per capita income is increased due to the increase in employment. Okay, employment created again, it is because of the government policies like liberalization, privatization. Okay, so many job opportunities are created because of this LPG model. Okay, and due to which people income was increased, right? And again, major impact of this LPG on our Indian economy is unemployment rate is reduced, right? Employment is very important factor of economic uh, development of country. We know that, but how unemployment rate is reduced over the period of time, it is very important, right? So in 1991, unemployment rate was 4.3%, but after India adopted new model, which is famously known as Indian economical reforms, otherwise LPG policy. Okay, LPG policy, more employment is generated because of the globalization. Many new foreign companies came in India, and due to liberalization, many new and entrepreneurs have started new companies. Because of abolition of industrial licensing, which is famously known as permit raj, employment is generated, and due to which India's unemployment is reduced from 4.3% in 1991 to 3%, or around 3.4% in 2016, right? So just look at the stats. Okay, it was 4.3% in the year 1991. The population also very important factor. Then we have around 80 crores of population, but today we have 135 crores of population and unemployment rate of around 3.4%, right? So unemployment rate has been reduced over the period of time just because of the abolition of Industrial Licensing Act or Permit Raj Act, and liberalization helped many entrepreneurs to start the new companies. Okay, because of that, today we saw that there are many companies like Ola, Uber, Paytm. Um, in every industry, we saw hundreds of new companies are starting day by day, uh, backed with some institutional investors and foreign investors, and for them local banks and local governments also supporting, right? It happened just because of the LPG model implementation. And also there's one more important thing: privatization has resulted into reduction of the government financial and administration burden, right? So so LPG model means privatization particularly has resulted into reduction of government financial and administrative burden, because initially we saw that during 1948, 1956, 1977, 1980, it is the government responsibility because government is controlling many industries, and we saw that monopoly in many industries, and there are many government sector companies are becoming sick due to the many different reasons, and the financial burden is again on the government. So After 1991, when government took the decisions of privatization, so it is now shifted to private people, right? Because of this, uh, government burden reduced, like financial administrative burden reduced because of the privatization, because of the disinvestment decisions, right? So these all are the some of the positive impact of LPG model on Indian economy. Okay, and also how it helped our Indian economy to grow in terms of GDP per capita income. Uh, it also uh, create opportunity for the inflow of foreign direct investment. It also help in reduction in employment rate, and also it shifting the administrative and financial burden for the private people. Right. These are some positive point, but it also have some limitations. Means limitation means some negative impact on our economy, like uh, low growth of agriculture sector, right? So we know that agriculture sector is the backbone of the Indian economy, because our country is majorly developed with the rural areas. Geographically, we have many rural areas in our country than urban areas, and we saw that there are majority of Indian population living in the rural areas, and in rural areas, agriculture is the main occupation, right? So, still today, back agriculture remains the backbone of the Indian economy. It plays a vital role not only in providing food and nutrition to the people, but also in the supply of raw materials to the industries and to export trade. Correct. In 1991, agriculture providing employment up to 72% of the people. Okay, it means that 72% of the people are working agriculture related activities or jobs. Okay, hence agriculture sector providing around 72% of employment to the public, and contributing 29% of the GDP. However, in recent times, okay, the share of agriculture in GDP went down drastically to around 14%. This has resulted in a lowering the per capita income of the farmers and increases the rural indebtedness. Correct. So in recent times we saw that due to this privatization, liberalization, globalization, agriculture land has becoming uh, lowering in the agriculture land, and still we are following some traditional agricultural activities. I mean that we are following traditional agriculture methods. Okay, still we are following traditional agricultural methods. Okay, and due to the government is majorly focusing on this private and service sector, um, we are service sector is generating the more number of employment opportunities, and it is contributing around 62% of to the Indian economy. The third sector means service sector. So due to this LPG, it is has negative impact on agriculture sector, like in 1991, agriculture sector is responsible for providing 72% of employment, and it is contributing 29% of total GDP. And now today it is comes down drastically to 17, around 14%. Right, this resulted in the lowering the per capita income of the farmers and increasing the rural indebtedness. Correct. So GDP composition in 2016 are as follows: agriculture around 14%, industries around 28%, and industries and service sector is around 30 56%. So then again, limited again, one of the major drawback is threat from foreign competitions. Okay, threat from foreign competition, due to opening up of the Indian economy, to foreign competition through liberalization and foreign direct investment policies, more MNCs are attracted towards India after 1991 reforms, and they are competing local businesses and companies. Since these MNCs have a lot of financial capacity, or those are big organizations with advanced foreign technology, uh, they have large production capacity and huge money for production and other research activities. They are easily defeating our Indian local companies. Correct. Uh, Due to this, and they had acquired many Indian companies as well. Because of financial constraint, lack of advanced technology, and production inefficient in our efficiencies in our Indian companies are the reasons behind this. Correct. So here the threat is that the threat from the foreign competition is like majority of our Indian countries are following traditional methods of production. The procedures also outdated. So now, due to the entrance of these MNCs in Indian economic scenario, leads them some insecurity, like as multinational companies are serving around the globe and they have huge money, like just I'm mentioning an example. Okay, the total value, the total revenue of Microsoft in the year 2018, which was equal to the total GDP of 140 countries. Okay, just imagine how much money they are having. Correct. So our Indian companies are majorly depending on government. Okay, government subsidies. Correct. And they are having some uh, unskilled labors and some other practical difficulties they are facing. But MNCs with huge capital, advanced technology, and large production capacity, and they are ready to promotion because they are ready to spend huge money on the promotion and research activities. They are easily defeating the local companies. So okay, this becomes one of the major threat to the our local companies, and also it create adverse impact on environment, like environmental pollutions uh, increases. It causes health problems of many people. Okay, so the food habit also changes. Okay, many people changing their food habits, and the one more important thing is increase in income disparity. Okay, globalization leads to widening income gaps within the country. Globalization benefits only to those who have the skills and the technology in the country. The higher growth rate is achieved by an economy can be the expense of declining income of people who may be rendered. Correct. So globalization has widened the gap between the rich and poor, raises inequalities. Correct. Due to it, like globalization is benefiting only to those who have the skill and technology in the country. Okay, higher growth rate is achieved by the e- economy on the expense of declining income of people who are not having the technology and proper skill set. Okay, so these are some of the limitations of LPG policy in the country. Okay, and thank you, class. We will be discussing in the next class on sociological environment. Thank you.